Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, having a look at the ECMWF extended model for America for today's second video. So this is your 6 weeks look ahead for the United States. We're going to look at mean sea pressure, 500 millibar high temperature and precipitation anomalies for the next 6 weeks. Gets us towards the last stages of November for North America. And I'll get on that for you in a moment. Just say that first, obviously, was our 6 a.m. upload. We've also got a live stream coming up at 6 p.m. this evening. And on that live stream, we're going to do a 10 to 14 day live. And we will also be discussing the epic 7th winter update as well. So that's going to be coming up at 6 p.m. this evening. And then straight after that, sometime between around 7.5 hours, we will also be releasing... I do mean straight up, as soon as the live stream ends, we will be releasing the third Sneaky Peeky for Christmas 2022. So an epic day of content coming up today here on the channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and we thank you so very much, everyone. But then there, right, thanks to EC, by the way, ECMWF for supplying the charts. Let's do this then. So we're going to begin with mean sea pressure anomaly for week 1, which takes us from the 17th to 24th of October. The coming week we'll have low pressure, or this week I should say, not the coming week, but this week has got low pressure across much of the northern states, and this low does dig down, and of course the east and south as well. There's higher pressure in the southern and southwestern states. Jet stream probably going through something a little bit like that. There's also a ridge up here. The 500 millibar height anomaly looks like this. So there's that ridge coming in off the Pacific Ocean into the north and the northeastern America. There's also a trough further southwards in the Pacific. And then we've got this big trough in the eastern part of America. That's where the jet stream is pushing southwards as well. So that trough of low pressure bringing cold air into the northern and also eastern states. There has been early snowfalls in some northern parts of America over the past few days. This is how the temperature anomaly is looking then for this week, and it's warmer than average in the far north and northwest. So these western and northwestern states are coming out significantly above average, with the temperature anomaly between around 6 and 10 degrees above average. But conversely, over in the eastern and southeastern states, it's a lot colder there, with the temperature anomaly of around 3 to 6 degrees below average in those rather deep blue shadings. So cold in the north and the east, warmer in the west and in the northwest. Much of the southern part of America is also looking quite cold as well, all the way from like Arizona right way over to Florida. But it's going to be warm. These are anomalies for average, remember. So if it's like 3 to 6 degrees below average in Florida, it will still be quite warm, of course. But we do see like below average temperatures right way from Arizona all the way over to Florida there. Precipitation-wise, there's a lot of dry weather to be enjoyed, actually. So we have got a wetter area in the south, again, somewhat unusually, the desert states of like Arizona towards Texas, Oklahoma, for example, above average rainfall there. Some of that extends a little bit further northwards as well, although the Pacific west coast actually looks relatively dry all the way up the west coast. Around the Great Lakes, precipitation free there. Some of that will be snow, of course, as the temperature is so cold and up to the Canadian border. Otherwise, though, a lot of dry weather through many central eastern parts of America through the Midwest. Many areas are looking drier than normal. It looks quite wet down towards the southern part of Florida, though. Right, well, that's week 1 done. Week 2 will take us from the 24th of October to the 31st, Halloween. How's it looking? So, trough of low pressure backing into the central part of America. By the look of it, still this ridge out in the far northwest, and a ridge building up towards the east and northeast as well. You will think that will start to bring somewhat warmer air potentially up the eastern side, with the wind turning into the south. But let's have a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly. Now, quite a significant change, actually, for the last week of October, with the trough backing into the western, northwestern part of America, and the ridge building over this eastern side of America, and the jet stream therefore will be going through something a bit like that, which should start to allow warmer air to move up, or milder air anyway, start moving up from the south into those eastern states. The temperature anomaly, complete flip around. Look at that. Very, very defined flip from week 1 to week 2. So let's just quickly go back to week 1. You don't have to see such a dramatic flip, but that's week 1. Like warm in the west and the northwest, cold in the east and the southeast. That's week 2. Total flip on that. So warm in the west, warm in the east, and cold in the west. So these western states are going colder than average from the Pacific coast right way toward the Rockies, for example. Then east of the Rockies, most areas are going above average with the temperature on it, especially again through the Midwest, through the breadbasket, into these eastern and northeastern parts of America, all the way up the eastern seaboard. But southern states, again, reflective of that, like the southwestern states are colder than average. The southeastern states are warmer than average in the final week of October. And the precipitation anomaly, more unsettled as well, away from the eastern seaboard, these eastern coastal areas, where it is still relatively dry. It's generally a more unsettled week. And of course, this time, the snow risk will probably be backing into the west, not to, like, the Pacific coast, but like the Rockies and those areas, and you know, those higher elevation areas, Colorado perhaps seeing some snowfalls as we get through into the last week of October. And that does extend towards the Great Lakes as well, that wet weather in towards the Midwest, but again right way over on the East Coast it does look quite a bit drier through there. Right, what happens into week 3? This is the 31st of October, 7th of November. More changes appearing. So higher pressure then building into the southwestern corner of America. Low pressure is into the northwest. Otherwise, it's not all that clear what's going on in the east. But let's have a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly. So that one is showing above average heights, really extending through much of America, really. There could be a trough down here in the southeast. That might be sort of a hurricane or something, tropical development, who knows. And then a trough of low pressure, quite clearly defined in the extreme northwestern corner. How's the temperature? I'm looking for the first week of November. Generally mild in most areas, so still a bit on the cool side for these western states, still a bit below average there. Again, from the Rockies eastwards, it looks mostly above average though, with that temperature anomaly. The southern states look a little bit cooler than average in the southwest, but the southern and southeastern states look above average with that temperature anomaly. And the precipitation anomaly, quite wet in the extreme west and northwest, otherwise pretty dry, especially in these more southern and southeastern states. Week 4 is going to be the 7th to the 14th of November. Now, it's also getting a little bit mysterious now. There's some low pressure in the Pacific, there's low pressure in the Atlantic, maybe a little bit of low pressure up here towards the Pacific coast of Canada, but inland across America, I think we'll just put in a couple of question marks. Let's have a look at week 4, 500 millibar height anomaly. Again, it's suggesting above average heights extending across most parts of America. There's a trough up here, definitely. There's probably going to be a trough through here, I would have thought. But it is a bit serious. Let's have a look at the temperature anomaly through this second week of November. It looks like that, more or less above average in most areas. It does look as though it could be going a little bit cooler towards the eastern, southeastern part, and maybe in some of these western states as well. In between, though, above average temperatures, really, again, from the Rockies to the Great Lakes. And the precipitation anomaly looks like that. So many areas are drier than average in the south and in the southeast too. It is a little bit wetter than average, maybe, in the far northwest. Week 5 is going to be the 14th to 21st of November. A ridge then starts to appear. High pressure through the central states. Could there be low pressure on either side? Let's add in question mark and go to the 500 millibar height anomaly. So that one is showing higher pressure returning to these more western parts of America, which you would look at that and think probably a trough is going to be going through there, wouldn't you? There's probably a trough going through there. Temperature anomalies look like that, and it is a average week or no signal, which implies there might be a bit of a cool down going on. Looks like it's warming up again in the west. So again, I think that could imply that this area might go a little bit cooler if we've got that dip in the jet stream. And the precipitation anomaly looks like that driving average of these east states, which probably goes against the idea, therefore, of a trough, but we'll work with it. Driving average over in these central and eastern states, or midwestern and eastern states. A little bit driving average out to the northwest, otherwise not much of a signal. Further out you go, the weaker the signals do get with the charts, especially for precipitation. And then finally, week 6 will be the 21st to 28th of November. And that is how it's looking. So some higher pressure in the far northwestern part of America, up to western Canada. The trough of a little bit of low pressure in the far south. Otherwise, it's a weak signal. The 500 millibar height anomaly shows above average heights from the Pacific into the far northwestern corner of America. Let's do that again, into the far northwestern corner of America through here. Trough of low pressure is through there. Again, could that bring something colder in some of these northern and northeastern states? I wonder. The temperature anomaly for week 6 looks like this, going a little bit colder then in the far north and around the Great Lakes there, a little bit more average in the south, a little bit above average in the far west, and possibly in the extreme northeast too. And then finally, the week 6 precipitation anomaly looks like that. So a bit wetter than average through there. That's where the trough of low pressure is coming through. You see where the ridge is through there. So there's going to be a ridge from the Pacific, if the model is right, because it's a long way out. Ridge from the Pacific into Northwest America. Trough through here. And then maybe a ridge through there, and that will bring cold and wintry weather into the northern states. And if that starts to progress southwards and eastwards, that might bring winter into those eastern parts of America for early December, maybe. Who knows? It's a very, very long way off. Okay, that's it for this week's extended USA forecast. If you enjoyed it, found it informative, then please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. We will bring you more content for America in the coming weeks. We're going to be back live streaming at 6 p.m. We're going to discuss the epic 7th winter update on that live stream. And if that wasn't enough, we will also do a 10 to 14 day live in that stream too. So it's going to be epic. And then straight after that, as soon as I stop live stream, I will enable the 3rd winter update. And no, 3rd, well, I'm talking about 3rd Christmas update. And you'll be able to have a look at that. So I shall see you later on at 6 p.m. But for this video, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.